Hi, good morning. Gayatri Jayaraman here. Welcome to Shamah. We're having a beautiful rainy wintry morning here in Mumbai. I hope you're having nice weather wherever you are. And even though it's the start of the week, if you can grab a cup of chai, sit here in a meditative state and sort of follow this, I hope it will be useful to you. Those of you who are new, welcome. I hope you find something here that will benefit you. Today, I wanted to talk about the aspects that we generally think of as undesirable or negative, but that we can turn to positive in order to benefit us. As we come to the year end, we generally think of releasing the old, starting new things, new habits, new patterns, new even enterprises, initiatives, and we all want them to work out. However, there are also some negative things that have happened during the past year, things that we want to put aside. Let's have a look at them, because the thing about the negative is that you can always convert it to a positive. You can always find a way to make the negative work for you. In fact, there's a story in the 6 realms of the Bhava Chakra. There is the helm realm, and there's something my teacher says, which I find very, relevant, is that when you are in the hell realm, the worst phase, where you're reaping the karmic sort of negatives for everything that you may have done in the past. All it needs is a moment of insight, a moment of self-reflection, and a moment of self-awareness to be able to escape the hell realm. Where does this insight come? This insight comes when you look at the pain that you are suffering, and you firstly realize that all pain, as the Buddha says, is inevitable, suffering is not. So when you're able to detach the suffering from the pain, then secondly, you can move to knowing how to use that pain to catapult yourself to a next level in life, right? When we look at the pain, and I'm not at all talking about self-inflicted pain, I'm not talking about self-harm. Please don't think that cutting yourself or harming yourself in any way is the way to escape pain. It is not. Because here's a truth that is both spiritual, astrological, mental, psychological, emotional, that the only way past pain is through it. This is a Gestalt principle also, okay? And the faster you're able to go through that pain, the faster it will get over. And all of us have different thresholds of pain. Some of us really can't cope. We've been through a lot of trauma. I know a lot of you have dealt with aspects like abuse, violence, undeservedly so. It was not fair that you had to go through this, and there was a lot of suffering involved, and it's sometimes just easier to push that down. It's very difficult to deal with those kinds of memories. Some of you may be going through it right now. So it's all very easy to say separate your suffering from your pain when you're actually living it, right? Or you've lived through something really difficult. But here's the thing, when pain is happening to you, it is possible to look at it as an aspect, as something that is being done to you, and not necessarily defining the entirety of yourself. And when you're able to come to this sense of detachment or non-attachment, and say, this is a set of circumstances. This doesn't define me, my mental makeup, my emotional entirety, the length and breadth of my life. You are able to somewhere say, what is this pain teaching me? It could be teaching you anything from, circumstances that you shouldn't be walking into, or, choices that you have to reevaluate. It could also be teaching you something about standing up for yourself, asking for help, dealing with self-care, self-motivation to get out of bad circumstances. But pain is not also that you have to sit there and bear it. It doesn't mean dumb acceptance. Bearing pain is also having the courage to change your circumstances, because that is painful too. It means that you might have to leave something or someone behind. It means you might have to ask for help. It means you might have to file a police report. It means you may have to go and find a job again. You may have to get a new set of circumstances. You may have to make certain commitments and stick to them. And these can all be painful because they involve changing what we have become comfortable about. And any change that we create is going to create more pain in terms of upheaval, maybe a lack of support, uncomfortable circumstances, discomfort for a while, sort of putting ourselves in places where we feel more vulnerable to ask for support. But this is also a pain that we have to go through and live through. And all these pains become necessary. And if you notice, a lot of the masters, like the Buddha, or, through tapasya, what is tapasya? Most of us, we read these accounts of people going through this penance, this rigorous penance. And we say, why would somebody inflict that on themselves? And the reason is because pain is the fastest way to exit a negative situation. And the faster you're able to walk through it, the faster you're able to resolve it, which is why a lot of masters choose pain. They choose to put themselves in a space of pain. They choose to take on the pain of others because it's just the fastest karmic release. Now, I'm reiterating, I'm not asking you to indulge in self-harm, harm yourself, harm your life in any way at all. Or that is not what pain is. Pain is the organic aspect of living, the organic rise of your emotions that make you feel uncomfortable and unaccepting. If there is self-harm inflicted, all that will do is make you go through, you're trying to cut short the process of pain through another way, and you'll just have to go through the whole cycle again. So that is not at all what going through pain means. Going through pain means if there is a painful circumstances, it is coping with it, finding your way out, finding your exit, trying to find that one aspect of insight or inspiration, self-reflection, self-awareness that will open the door for you, and to keep at it until you get that insight. And that insight could be you need to exit the circumstance. And that itself might be a difficult conclusion to arrive at. It's not easy for a lot of people. So, and that itself will create 10 more difficulties, 10 more aspects of discomfort. But when you arrive at the insight that this is what I need to do, this is what my path needs to be, it could be leaving behind a career of 20, 25 years where you had hopes and aspirations that were not met, and coming to the realization that, look, I need to retrain, I need to find something else, this is not going to work for me. I have to start investing in something that is going to give me what I need. And these are not easy decisions to arrive at. So that itself is a process of pain, but to go through that change willingly, with acceptance, with knowledge, with awareness, taking the lessons that you have learned from them is the process of going through the pain, right? The second one is to look at your patterns and the cycles that you are stuck in. I've addressed this entirely in a completely different video, so do have a look at that when you have the time. I'll put the link again in the description box. But it is very important, especially now at the end of the year when we're looking to frame new resolutions, as to what are the patterns we are stuck in. So every day we might be creating resolutions about, say, I want to be healthy, I want to eat healthy, I want to move to a vegan diet, I want to go no carb. And every year we keep falling off that cycle. So it's very necessary to sit down even before you can move to a space of making a change and saying, I want to move to this positive thing. It's very good to have a positive goal, but what are the patterns that are keeping you stuck in the negative goal? And it's important to look at those and say, these are the patterns that are repeating cyclically in my life. And what are those? It could be anger, it could be frustration, it could be guilt, it could be eating your emotions, it could be inability to handle stress, it could be a lack of finances. But unless you release these patterns, the new is not going to begin. it's not going to give you the space. You have to make space. It's like cleaning your hard drive. To clean your hard drive for anything new and good to begin. So this is the correct time, around 2 weeks before New Year, when you might be starting your new resolutions, to sit down and look at those patterns. And how do you, say you're going round in the cycle, how do you gain enough momentum to catapult yourself out of that cycle up to the next level? And the next level is also a cycle. It's called samsara for a reason, right? It's cycling. But each time we go through a cycle, we have to evaluate it. We have to see the pattern. We have to recognize the pattern and use the momentum of that pattern to catapult us out of it to the next level. Okay, so let's say I have taken 4 jobs in my field, and each of the 4 jobs has ended with a conflict with the boss, upset with the pay, dissatisfaction with the job profile, a sense of constriction, restriction. Before I go and apply for the next job, let me look at these 4 jobs. Let me see my patterns in them. Let me see what it is that I really want. And how can I use these 4 years of experience for jobs that have given me a certain kind of experience? Because let us also be very clear that change and transformation is not throwing out the past, it is using the past. So just as a sapling comes from a seed and replaces the seed, and this is an example in one of the Buddha's words in the sutra, okay, in the Anichyata Sutra, sorry, I think this is in the Lalita Vistara Sutra, as the sapling replaces the seed, and it is not the seed, and yet it is not different from it. So also our change has to come from the past without discarding the past and yet replacing the past. So it is necessary to look at these patterns and say, I have been through these 4 jobs. What has it given me? What can I discard and what can I grow from it? And that is something that will come to you with a process of insight and reflection, looking at your own skills, looking at what you have learned, looking at where you want to go and putting them all together. So this is the way to use cycles to move to the next level. The third is obstacles. Okay, I've said this also before, that when you are confronted with an obstacle, don't look at it as this block in your path. The obstacle exists for a reason. It is manifested by you, through you. It sits on your path. It's talking to you. Most of us try to go through the obstacle, around the obstacle. We try to push the obstacle. So let's say you're walking down a path and there's a mountain and there's no other way. So you either have to dig a hole through the mountain, you have to climb the mountain, come down on the other side, or go around. Or turn back. These are pretty much your options. Before you do any of them, sit there and talk to the mountain. And say, what are you here for? What is your purpose? What are you blocking me from? What is the benefit to me in your blocking me? What am I gaining? What am I losing? And then take the path of least resistance. This is the Wu way. Do nothing. We all are so caught up in this philosophy of life that tells us that do, every minute look busy, do things. So we do mindlessly. We just do. We feel the minute we wake up to the moment we go to bed at night, we do. And we expect results for every doing. And we've made our whole life a transaction. I do this, you give me that. And if that doesn't come, then this doing is waste. So now let me do something else. And it's endless. Instead, let the force in your life be the spirit. According to Tao, when you look with your eyes, you are not seeing, because you're only using the physical sense. When you do only through an action, you are not doing. You have to do through spirit. When you do through spirit, when you are in the space of spirit, doing, action, seeing, being, all of that will follow. And you do through spirit when you come to a space of stillness, when all the energies are at symmetry and aligned within you. Your clarity will show you a path. It will show you the obstacle. It will show you what you are being protected from. It will show you a sense of purpose, a sense of mission. And you will be able to divert yourself as water around an obstacle to the next course on your path. A river doesn't think it has failed because it has gone this way and that. Its role is to meander, its role is to find the sea. And it will go past and around any obstacle on its path in order to be able to reach the sea. Right? So when you are confronted with an obstacle, the obstacle is one of the most powerful things on our paths. Look at it, talk to it, acknowledge it, see that it comes from you, it is manifested from you, from your choices, from your decisions. Other things you have to recalibrate, you have to change the way you do things. Just sit with the obstacle and allow it to teach you. In this way, you will be able to move around it. You might ask me, but you know, Gayatri, that's all very well, but I have to do things, right? I have to earn money, I have to get a job, I have to feed people, I have to, you know, pay my EMIs. The thing is, a lot of these decisions and choices are done out of ego. We can't seem to have failed. We can't seem not to have. So we will do anything as long as people don't think that we are lacking in purpose. But when we do not genuinely have a purpose, nothing we do is going to be fruitful. So you might go and do that job, you're going to come across another obstacle there. You're going to go and do this, you're going to come across another obstacle there. So it is utterly pointless to keep doing because you're going to keep coming back around to the same obstacle. So until you sit down and confront that obstacle, you're only taking actions to satisfy yourself that you are doing, you're not actually doing. And the obstacle is not going to go away. If the obstacle is constantly recurring, it is there to teach you something. So you need to sit down and have a conversation with the obstacle, right? And then the fourth one is forgetting. I know a lot of clients come to me and say, you know, I'm getting very forgetful these days. What do I do? And we treat forgetting like it is some sort of failing, some sort of weakness. But here's the thing, forgetting is really, really beneficial. When we forget the harm that has been done to us, when we forget the pain that has been done to us, you know, it allows us to move on. Sometimes when you sit in meditation and all these old memories, words, phrases, sentences come up, things that have been done to us come up, you realize that they exist in the subconscious. But not having them constantly in front of our face allows us to move on, get along with people, get past the things that may have been done or may not have been done inadvertently or even consciously. We are all, by now we realize the more we meditate, that we're all a product of karma, circumstances, choices, influences, causes, conditions, effects. None of us operates as an absolute on our own, right? When my karma and your karma meets, we conjoins, we meet at an intersection. You inflict what you have to on me, I inflict what I have to on you, and then our paths separate. And this is the sort of circumstance and the influence, and why you are there and why I am there is a number of influences. So nobody is as such is to blame. We do have a sense of free choice, free will. We should be making better choices. We should not be harming others. When we do, we will just increase our own bad karma. We create a lot of pain for others. So as far as possible to try and be conscious being, but that level of consciousness that we're able to choose or not choose is also based on a number of circumstances. Which is why they say the human birth is so precious. You know, the ability to self-reflect, be self-aware, look at our own faults, and none of us are without fault. But what forgetting does is enables us to say that was yesterday. That was a mistake I shouldn't have made. That was a mistake that somebody else shouldn't have made towards me. Let me move on. Let me find new ways of being, new ways of doing. And this affects all our relationships. This allows us compassion, empathy, forgiveness. It allows us to have new starts. It's a very, very valuable thing to forget. So as far, and I'm not saying consciously forget, when I'm not also saying repress or suppress, because that will go inside the subconscious and manifest in different ways. If there is injustice done to you, you do have the right to get up and say, you shouldn't be doing this to me. But then are you able to move on? Right? Say the apology has come, the person has realized that I shouldn't have done this. Are you able to get up and say, let's forget this? You know, leave the past in the past. Because the thing with anger is always based in the past. The past, even if it has passed just one moment ago, it is still the past, and there is no power on earth that can change the past. And in your ability to shift your attention from the past to the present is the agility of your mind. And in that agility of your mind is the root of all dynamism and the root of all resolution. And here's the truth: we constantly look for answers to the past in our present. We're constantly saying, why did this happen? But the thing is, the present is born out of the past. So the answer to the present is in the past. The answer to the past is not in the present. You are here because of there. There is not explicable by today. The sapling is born from the seed. The sapling does not have the answer to the seed. The seed has the answer to the sapling. So our karma, our actions, our aspirations, our intentions, our causes, our conditions, our effects in the past create the present. The thing is this: your present is creating tomorrow. Your answer to tomorrow is in today. So if you keep your focus on the past and say, I want to know why that happened to me, you are using that to sow your future. So your future is not going to be any different. If you want a different future, your answer to your future is in today. So what are you doing in your now? If your now is still constantly questioning the past, your future is also going to be constantly questioning the past. So you have to move your attention from the past to the future. The way to do that is through forgetting. So forgetting is a huge gift. Try and use it to sit and find your answer to the future. Yeah? And the last thing, of course, is an aspect of all of these, which is leaving behind the past. When we're able to leave all these things behind, the pain, the obstacles, the recurring patterns, the forgetting, and we are able to station ourselves in the now. Sometimes you get this question, why did Gautama Buddha abandon his wife and his child? Why did Adi Shankara leave his mother? Why do saints, seers, and sages sort of move away from, families, societies, circumstances? And this is the thing, because you have to constantly leave behind the past if you have to move to a higher plane. And you don't have to physically or tangibly move away, because the only answer to the samsara is like this puzzle that sages, seers, philosophers have tried to exit for years on end. The answer to that puzzle, the key to that puzzle is in samsara. So you might be a monk who's going and sitting in a cave or an ashram and says, I have not been angry for 25 years, but you have no cause to be angry, right? So nobody actually knows whether you have anger or you don't have anger. You have not necessarily answered that anger. You have not necessarily mastered that anger. Same way with all our other emotions, whether it is jealousy, pride, covetousness, this constant greed for money, money, money. You can sit in a cave all you want. A monk is not somebody who escapes the world, doesn't see its value and says, I'm going to go sit in an ashram or a cave. A monk is somebody who says, I see the purpose of this world. I understand this Maya. I see through the illusion. I know how to use it. And I know how to stand here and be of benefit to people who are suffering from pain, suffering from the pain of their karma. To become a bodhisattva. To use everything that has come to us, all the merit that has come to us for the benefit of others, and thereby become a channel for this energy that goes out to others. Whether it is the farmer in his field he's putting in so much blood, sweat, and tears. Why somebody else is going to eat that grain? Why should he do it? That is karma. He's reaping his karma. Because anything that you're investing in that is growing and going towards others is releasing you from the bondage. That is why the farmer's profession is the noblest profession. That is why the doctor is the noblest profession. That is why the teacher is the noblest profession. That is why the soldier is the noblest profession. Because they are standing there and doing for others. The rest of us, we sit and do for ourselves. The more you accumulate energy, you dam it. And it will never flow through you. The more you give out, your lens turns outward, you become a channel. And the more you're able to do for others, you have channeled all of this and then your pain becomes irrelevant. Why do bodhisattvas go and actively ask for other people's pain? Why do people like the Dalai Lama or Ramana Maharshi sit there and listen to people's stories of dukkha, sorrow, grief, anger? Why is that their job? Why can't they sit in a cave and meditate? Because there is no release in sitting in the cave and meditating. The release is in serving. The release is in channeling. The release is in releasing. And what you have learned in terms of knowledge, education, aspiration, pass it on. In that is your own release. And in doing this, we will find that the bonds of karma that we have tied around ourselves begin to flow away, because energetically we become fused with an outward energy. We go past the confines of the body, right? So when we say abandonment or walking away or taking sannyas or taking, becoming a bodhisattva, taking those vows, the only release is through the human birth. It is through samsara. It is by going through the cycle of samsara that you exit the cycle of samsara. This is also the message of the Bhagavad Gita. When Krishna tells Arjuna, who's saying, why should I kill people, my own family, for a kingdom? It is standing in the battleground that is your release. That is how you get to see Vishnu. You don't get to see the avatar of Vishnu in a cave. It is in dharma, it is in duty. It is in performing what you need to perform for the people who you need to perform it to, who come your way, that there is release. So I hope these aspects will allow you to channel any negatives that exist in your life, to turn them around and use that momentum, use that energy to catapult yourself to a next level. Do tell me how this works for you. Any incidents from your own life. I love to hear these stories. They also help me contemplate, think of questions, and help you address them in future sessions. So do leave comments, questions, and suggestions below. And this is a very powerful week. A number of aspects, Rahu, Ketu, Jupiter, Saturn forming Christmas star, the age of Aquarius, Gandanta, the winter solstice, a lot happening. So just use the energy really well. Meditate, move from spirit, move from tangible to the intangible, from what you have to what you know and what you perceive, consciousness, and in that will be your moving forward. I wish you all the very best for this week, and do let me know how it goes. See you soon.